Honestly, I do not know about AEW. I mean, I'm just being honest here. I'm looking at the roster, and it just does not impress me that much. There are a few guys who do impress me that I'm a huge fan of. I always thought, Christopher Daniels was very underrated, Kazarian very underrated, but they're like getting older. They're not getting any younger. Chris Jericho and Omega, that could definitely draw some money, you know. But I mean, like who is this? Who is this gay black guy, Sonny Kiss? I mean, seriously, like who? Like how the hell can you draw money with a guy like Sonny Kiss? Okay, how the hell can you draw money with a queer like this? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, we all know Jericho's not getting any younger. We know that yeah, he can have a good rivalry with Omega, a good feud with Omega, but at the end of the day, the only person who I think is gonna shock some people, and I think that a lot of people are gonna be stunned with this guy because he's really fucking brutal. He's fucking violent as shit. He's fucking gnarly, and that's Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy Havoc is a very underrated. Um, he's not like most of your typical indie schmucks. This guy he puts on some of the most violent matches. He's had some violent matches in CZW. This guy could be a breakout star. I think Jimmy Havoc is really great. He's got it to him. He's got an it factor to him. That I think is sorely missing in today's pro wrestling. Because in an era where everyone is just a fucking indie hipster schmuck with stupid cheesy looking sunglasses, trying to look like some fake ass Kanye West, always trying to look all glamorous and ditzy and stuff like that. All these bright golden colors and stuff. It's just ridiculous. You know, but Jimmy Havoc, he's got an edge to him. I think we're gonna see some really cool fucked up matches with this dude. But that's pretty much the only person I could say like, oh yeah, like I want to see him wrestle, Jimmy Havoc. And of course, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, they're obviously gonna put on some good matches. But again, like my whole thing is, who are you gonna build to be the face of the company? Who's gonna put asses in seats? Who's gonna be? Because you can't just rely on Jericho and Omega forever. Omega, he's younger. You could probably do something with him. And here's my whole thing with their the Omega Jericho rivalry. My thing is like you have a guy who's almost 50 years old, Chris Jericho, who's pretty much done it all in pro wrestling, who has a band, who has a family. What does he need to prove to the wrestling fans? Why should I care about Chris Jericho being signed to AEW? What does he have to prove? It would have been something like if like AEW tried to sign like Baron Corbin or like even Samoa Joe, somebody who I can be like, oh, you know what, this guy, he's got something, he's brutal, he's got hunger, he hasn't really been to the dance yet. He's been to the dance a couple of times, but he hasn't really danced yet. He hasn't really stole the show. He hasn't really been given that opportunity to prove that he could be an A plus player, an impact player. No pun intended. You know, but Jericho, he's already proven that, and he's not like a huge star like that. He's not like on the Rock's level or something like that, or like a Dave Batista or somebody who's like who could get casual fans in. Like people know Jericho like from Fozzy. They know him from WWE, but he's not gonna get your average person who maybe could have gotten into wrestling, but will never get into wrestling because it's so shitty, because it sucks now. Who a person who growing up today probably would have watched wrestling back in the Attitude Era, but would never watch the shitty garbage that we have today. See, and that's the thing with Jericho. He's not getting any younger. There's nothing for him to do. Yeah, he has this rivalry with Kenny Omega, but it's like, after that, then what? Then what? What they really should have done with that whole Kenny Omega Jericho feud was make it feel like Kenny Omega needed to beat Chris Jericho to solidify him as a top star. That's what they really should have done. Instead, all they did was cater to the smarks again. Typical. Typical. I mean, yeah, you got the Young Bucks. They're a decent tag team. But, I mean, come on. Like, it's just. If AEW really wants to fill in that void, they need to find. Listen, I'm sick of people saying, "Oh, we need like a new Rock, a new Stone Cold Steve Austin." Yeah, that would be cool in an ideal world. But what about the next Bruiser Brody? When are we gonna get the next Bruiser Brody? When are we gonna get like the next Mick Foley? When are we gonna get like the next Undertaker? When are we gonna get a monster? When are we gonna get like a badass monster that could be like, oh shit, I have to watch this guy kill some people? Like, you look at the UFC, you look at MMA, and there are tons of guys who I'm like, oh yeah, he's a great fighter. He's fucking brutal. I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight for the welterweight title. I want to see him fight. You know, for the middleweight, or it's just like there is a ton of fighters in the UFC that you can get hyped for. You want to see them fight. Wrestling, not so much. Wrestling is the same old song and dance, flips and kicks and all this corny ass shit. Now we got fucking gay people, like overly gay people, like Sonny Kiss in AEW. It's just pathetic. It's like, does this come? See, this is why you can't trust these cheeseball millennial faggots to run a wrestling company, because they don't know shit. They don't know any. They don't know how to make wrestling cool. They're a bunch of geeks themselves. I mean, Tony Khan looks like a fucking geek. He looks like a fucking geek. And when he was on the fucking Jericho's podcast, he was talking about, oh my god, I'm so starstruck. You're supposed to be the boss. You're supposed to be the head of a wrestling organization. Here you are marking out. Same thing with Dixie Carter with TNA. It's just like, you gotta find people who I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's okay to be a fan. It's okay to be a bit of a mark. But my thing is like, you gotta know how to do business. You gotta know what's gonna make people want to watch wrestling again. We always talk about the Monday Night War and the Attitude Era, WCW, NWO. Listen, WCW, aside from the cruiserweight division, it wasn't filled with vanilla midgets. WWF damn sure wasn't filled with vanilla midgets. ECW, yeah, you had a few vanilla midgets, but for the most part, people were talking about Rob Van Dam, the Sandman, Raven, the Dudley Boys, Taz, all this cool shit going on. That's what they wanted to see. People wanted to see New Jack come into fucking Natural Born Killers and beat the shit out of people. That's what people wanted to watch when they watched ECW. It wasn't just, oh, let's push Yoshihiro Tajiri and fucking Little Guido to the moon. No, no. They were putting on lesbian storylines. They were putting on fucking rated R content in their wrestling promotion that made people want to watch. They didn't just get a bunch of skinny hipsters and Japanese people and expect everyone to be like, oh, well, I guess we're going to just cater to a bunch of fucking stupid ass Dave Meltzers. No. No, and that's why wrestling is in the shape it's in. Because no one gives a shit about pro wrestling. No one cares. Because you're not doing anything controversial or anything cool in wrestling. That's why no one cares about it. No one cares about AEW right now. The only thing people care about, I mean, Tuesday Night Dynamite? That's the name of your show? That seriously, that's the name of your fucking show. Tuesday Night Dynamite? You're a fucking faggot, Cody Rhodes. The Young Bucks? You guys are fucking faggots. Tony Khan, you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, who the fuck names a television or wrestling program Tuesday Night Dynamite? What is this, a fucking cartoon on Cartoon Network or some shit? Tuesday Night Dynamite? The name, like, when I first heard WCW Nitro, Monday Nitro, that felt something. That had a feel to it. WCW Monday Nitro, WWF Raw is War, Monday Night Raw. Even Impact, like no pun intended, had an impactful name to it. Impact. Tuesday Night Dynamite. In comparison to all those three names, even SmackDown, layeth the smacketh down, SmackDown, WWF SmackDown, like a Tuesday Night Dynamite. This company's gonna fail instantly because I don't know who it's gonna appeal to aside from faggots and stupid retarded millennials who are too liberal to know any better. I mean, it's a joke. I was hoping that this could be actual competition. I was hoping that this could actually be competition because we sorely need it in wrestling. But I guess Bobby Heenan was right. Wrestling is done. There's nothing else you can do with it. It's dead. The late and great Bobby Heenan was right. There's nothing else you can do with wrestling. It's a shame. There's so many uncreative, stupid, nerdy, faggot idiots, one-dimensional idiots in this wrestling industry that don't know shit and don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's a damn shame. A goddamn shame. Here we have an opportunity. AEW actually has money behind it. You guys have the opportunity to create an actual good wrestling company that's good and that can actually like be an alternative to the WWE. And you blew it. You blew it. The only person I see on that roster that I was, oh yeah, I actually want to see is like Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy Havoc's the only guy I really want to see. Kenny Omega, Jericho, that's yeah, you got that. That could be like the top money draw for a little bit, but then what? What are you gonna do with Omega? Hmm? Hmm? What are you gonna do with your stars? Like you have like so many people on this roster or they're just like they shouldn't even be on the fucking roster. They shouldn't even be on the fucking roster. These are not the type of people that people watch wrestling for. Nobody's gonna want to watch these vanilla midget schmucks who are way too flashy and cheesy when you have the UFC around. No one's gonna want to watch this cheesy ass shit. This is garbage. It's not even cheesy in a way that it could actually be good. It's not like anime or something like that, or like even like Power Rangers, where it's just like, oh yeah, it's cheesy, but it's like well, Power Rangers started to suck after Zeo, but my point is, like there's no cool characters. Like you look at like Power Rangers, you look at like Austin St. John and Jason David Frank, they carried Power Rangers. They made Power Rangers important. Who do you have in AEW that could do that? Hmm? Who do you have in AEW that could really like carry this brand and make it cool? Like you look at like the rivalry in Street Fighter, Ryu and Ken. Jason and Tommy from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You look at like Goku and Vegeta from Dragon Ball. And it's like who do you have that could be on that level? What monster do you have? What monster do you have on that roster that could just like tear house? Like who do you have? You have a bunch of indie schmucks and a faggot like Sonny Kiss. I mean, it's a fucking joke. Seriously, it's a joke. You actually think that this could do good business? You're fucking Mark. Tony Khan is a fucking he comes off like your stereotypical loser Mark who watches shitty nerdy wrestling. He's another Dave Meltzer. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. I'm looking at this fucking roster right now from worst to best, and I'm like, wow, this is embarrassing. They actually think that they're gonna be a big deal with a roster like this. What a joke. Tuesday Night Dynamite. Let me repeat that, folks. Tuesday Night Dynamite. Not not a cool like, oh, this is gonna be AEW Tuesday Night Chaos or Tuesday Night Carnage or something impactful like Tuesday Night Live or something like that. Like something cool. No, Tuesday Night Dynamite. That alone is just like, you guys are a bunch of faggots. The stupid Cody Rhodes and his stupid little faggot elite friends, a bunch of homos, bunch of idiots. And you have a shitty wrestling show filled with vanilla mids. The only person I want to see on that show, really, like I said before, is Jimmy Havoc. That's it. That's it. The show is garbage. The show, I can already tell it's going to be a piece of shit. It's already going to be a piece of shit. I mean, it's over. It's over before it even began. It's over before it even began. What a joke. Mm-mm-mm. It's a shame. The one hope we had for wrestling to actually be good again, and this is what we get. This shit.